And I said, come over, come over, come on over, you'll say.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Town of Portland podcast. We are live here in our podcast studio at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. I'm your host, Dave Kuzminski, and I'm here with our first selectman, Mr. Ryan Curley. Hi, Ryan. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you, Dave?
Well, I'm recovering. It was a great retirement party. Thanks so much for attending and, having so many people there with, it was gratifying. It really was.
We had quite the turnout for you at St. Clement's last week.
Yes, we did. It was unbelievable. So tell us, what's happening? We got a lot of new doings in the town here at Portland.
We are busy. We are very busy. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on. So I guess I'll jump right into it. There's quite a few updates today. So
okay, let's do it.
We'll go right along. So the first big news that came out at the end of last week was the proposed Nordic spa that is coming to town. We're very excited about this.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you a little bit about this. This is a company called Pomeroy Lodging has proposed to build a Nordic spa at the site. It is 311 Brownstone Avenue, which is currently home to Quarry View.
Okay.
Now, this is the property that Dean Susie and Darlene Rice purchased back in 2019.
Yep.
And when they purchased this property, it was a jungle there.
Yes.
It had been abandoned for quite some time. Everything was overgrown. It looks nothing like it does today. And Dean and Darlene brought this property back to life.
Unbelievable.
The two of them, it can't be overstated, what a difference they made.
Oh, God. Just Dean moving those brownstone pieces around, my God. They had drum circles down there. They had craft fairs down there. And, it was just such a serene place. You can go and sit and meditate. And like I say, it was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And so they did such a good job with that piece of property that it caught the eye of this company.
Yes.
Yeah. So they proposed, they came, I think I first met with them, in the summer of 2022. So this has been in the works for quite some time now. I know Dean and Darlene have been working with these guys for a while now. And so they developed a plan. They submitted it to planning and zoning, and they did get their approvals last week for the development of this site, which will include about 33,000 square feet of commercial space, commercial space in the town, which includes there's hot tubs, relaxation areas, and actually I think what we'll do is after I hope we can put the plans up as we
yes,
talk
as we
about
do the
that.
post-processing, yes.
So hopefully you'll be able to see what we're talking about here, but it's really an exciting thing for the town. It's expected to create about 70 new jobs here in Portland.
Yep.
And when it's built, and they're expecting 2025 for a completion date. So they really want to move, and they want to move quick now that they're approved. And we're talking about, what else was I going to say about that? 30,000 square feet of retail commercial space, 70 new jobs, and it's completed at the end of next year. I think that was it. I feel like I'm forgetting something else. Oh, I know. The number of visitors per year. They're expected to generate 100,000 visitors to the town of Portland. And unlike what's next door, our Brownstone Exploration and Discovery Park, I think this project lends itself to more wintertime visitors than summertime visitors.
Okay.
So it'll be nice to have that change from what exists currently.
Well, and it's a more contiguous tourist season. We have the summer, plus it with the new place, it'll be into the winter also. Mm-hmm. Nice.
So, not only does this help this project, but you may recall, and we've talked about it quite a bit on this podcast, is the town-owned properties that we purchased back in 2019 as well on Brownstone Avenue.
Yep,
so
the end of Middlesex Avenue there too.
Nope, this is on Brownstone Avenue.
Oh,
222, 230.
Right, the old Sprague property.
And 248 Brownstone Avenue. So the town purchased those properties in 2019, and we had a grant from DECD to remediate those properties, and we've done a bunch of work at 248 Brownstone Avenue. Mm-hmm. And, we had issued an RFP looking for a developer back 2 years ago now in 2022, and we didn't get any bites at the time. We were specifically looking for a restaurant at that time, and so we knew that this project does have a great deal of potential. It's waterfront property. And when we went out and issued that RFP the last time, the remediation had not been completed yet. It hadn't even started.
Right.
So now that that project has been completed, and we also have an additional $500,000 topper grant or contingent grant from DECD, provided that we get a developer for this property. And so now that we have this exciting new spa that's coming right down the road, I think that this property, our town-owned property, just got a heck of a lot more valuable.
Sure.
And so we're going to be issuing another RFP very soon, and I expect to have a lot more interest.
A lot more takers, yes.
Yeah. So we're very excited about this. We're excited for Dean and Darlene and what they did with their Quarry View property, and we're welcoming Pomeroy Lodging to town, and they really have some I think some really great plans for.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I was scanning through some of the plans in public works. My God, we have spas and hot tubs and saunas and, you know, all kinds of stuff there. So it's going to be pretty exciting.
I guess with all your free time now, Dave, you'll be down there quite a bit.
Yeah,
I can
I'm going
imagine.
to be signing up for a membership and, you know, be one of my local or weekly haunts.
Great. All right. So yeah, that's just one of the things that happened last week. Another item that has come up is a proposed modification to the Brainerd Place project that has recently generated a lot of attention. And so I do want to touch base on that, what the developer is currently proposing to change and what that would mean for the town of Portland as well.
Okay.
So as you may recall, the developer, what was approved previously by the Planning and Zoning Commission was for roughly about 117,000 square feet of commercial space, new commercial space, and 240 apartment units.
Yep.
And so this was going to be a mixed-use development site. And with that, it was contingent. There's a fixed assessment agreement with the town that's contingent on the developer restoring the historic homes as well that are there. We have 3 historic homes. Those are the Brainerd House, the Sage House, and the Hart Jarvis House. And so the plans originally were approved, I believe, in 2017. The fixed tax agreement with the Board of Selectmen was approved in 2017. And then there were some changes since then. We had, as you know, we had COVID. The property did not get developed in quite some time. From 2019 to 2021, or 2017 to 2021, very little happened at the site, and there was just more of a waiting period for the site again. Now, in 2021, the Board of Selectmen and the developer got together and they modified the agreement. And the Board of Selectmen at the time put some contingencies in place that the developer was going to have to hit if he wanted to keep this tax agreement. And a lot of those things he's already met. He had to merge all the parcels. He had to take ownership of the property, all the property, because it was split up into a number of properties back then. And so he did merge those properties, and he did get the building permits that he needed to do. And as you can see when you drive by, Building E is well underway.
Yeah.
The foundation is in on Building F, the second of the 2 proposed apartment buildings. And then the Starbucks building is up already. And so they're working. Now, what's happened from 2017 until now is that there was a large-scale building slated for commercial use in the back called Building A. And the developer has had some difficulties in filling that commercial space. And what he's saying is that the market does not exist right now for that amount of space in that area. And in some ways, I think I can understand, post-COVID, commercial space in general is down. There's a lot more space than there is demand right
Sure,
now.
exactly.
And so what he has proposed and he submitted to Planning and Zoning is to do a couple things. One is he is proposing to change what was initially slated for a CVS on the corner of Main Street and Route 66. He's proposing instead to have 2 buildings, one on each corner, and to have a skywalk in between, which would create 32,000 square feet of commercial space. Now, the renderings that he has shared with the Board of Selectmen and the Planning and Zoning Commission are very nice. I mean, this is space that previously did not exist. I think it would be a great thing for the town if both of these two buildings were to be built on the corner. We'd have a lot more attractive and usable commercial space right on Main Street, right on Route 66,
Yep.
which would be very visible for the town. So that would be great for the town, I think, if we got that change through. The other change that he's proposing is in regards to Building A, which was slated to be the commercial building before with, I think it was 11 apartment units. He's now asking for 108 additional apartment units. And with that, the building that he proposed is similar to the other two apartment buildings, with the main difference is that it would have 20,000 square feet of commercial space in this proposed third building.
Mm-hmm.
With that, it would include a rooftop restaurant that would be very nice. It would be overlooking the Aragoni Bridge, and it would potentially be quite the destination
Sure.
for the town of Portland. So with that, he's also proposing 108 more apartments, and obviously, with 240 apartments initially, this would bring up the number of apartments to 348 total units, which is it's a lot of units. There's no denying that. Now, the Board of Selectmen has looked at the plan, and what we had to do is we had to amend our tax agreement that we have with the developer. Now, no vote was taken place at last week's Board of Selectmen meeting, but generally, what the Board of Selectmen, I think, are considering is that overall, the plan is okay, provided that we have safeguards in place to make sure that we get what we're supposed to get with the project.
Mm-hmm.
And so those 108 units that the developer is proposing, we're saying that there would be no fixed tax agreement with those 108 units. So if the developer does get the approval from planning and zoning, then those would not be subsidized by the town at all, those 108 units. We would only be giving a tax incentive to the retail and commercial space, which
Okay.
we have been doing all along.
Okay.
So that's a big change that's proposed. We also have safeguards in place to make sure that the historic homes are preserved. We're very concerned that we know that the developer is motivated for apartments, but we want to make sure that we get that retail commercial space that we're supposed to get, but we also get those historic homes restored as well, because that's very important. And so one of the things that we have in place is that the developer will not be able to get a CO on the second apartment building, that's Building F, until the exterior of the Hart Jarvis house, the Brainerd house, and the Sage house is all finished and restored. And so that was something that we put in as well. And on Building A, he would not be able to get a CO on that third apartment building unless the B buildings on the corner are completed.
Okay.
And also he would have to do the Brainerd house on the interior as well. Now, the Sage house and the Hart Jarvis house, although he has to do the exterior, anybody who is going to come into that project, into the Sage house or the Hart Jarvis house, it's going to have to be built to suit the needs of whatever business decides to come there. So it's difficult for us, the Board of Selectmen, to say today, okay, you have to restore the interior a specific way, because that interior is contingent on the business that's going there.
Yeah.
Whereas the Brainerd house is owned by the developer, and so that will be restored. And that's part of the fixed tax agreement today,
Sure.
is that he will restore that, but prior to a CO for Building A.
Okay.
And so that's really the changes. In the end, it is a significant change. There's 108 additional apartment units, but the trade-off is a rooftop restaurant, gorgeous buildings on the corner, and the town is not subsidizing those additional 108 units. In fact, we will be generating tax revenue,
Sure.
off of that from day one.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know it's a big change that the Planning and Zoning Commission, will be considering, and it'll be interesting to see what the public reaction is on it, because I know there's been a lot of talk right now on social media. But I really think that everybody needs to see the plan, see what's proposed, and then make their decision, because it could be good, it might not be, but we'll have to see what happens
Well,
next.
let's see what the proof is in the pudding. So to speak.
Exactly. So those between the spa and Brainerd Place, there was a lot of big news that happened last week.
Yes.
And so, but there's more. There's plenty more news to talk about. And I don't want to have it overshadowed. But tomorrow night, I will be presenting my proposed fiscal year 2025 proposed budget to the Board of Selectmen and to the town.
It is that time.
It is that time.
Budget time.
Budget time. It happens every year. And the presentation will be at 7 p.m. tomorrow night in the Buck Foreman Room of the Community Center located at 265 Main Street. And, working on budgets are always challenging every year, trying to balance the needs of the town with also, what is affordable to our residents. And so the budget that I did propose, it has a overall increase in spending of 4.62%. Now you got to remember that's made up of the Board of Education and the town side. But the impact to the mill rate on that is 3.11%. So there would be a 3.11% increase to the mill rate on the proposed budget. But what I'm most proud of with the budget is of that 3.11 increase, 0% is on the town side. So the town side, actually, the general government side, has a flat mill rate increase this year, which that was a priority for me. Was to be flat on the mill rate increase this year. Now, the Board of Education is another story. They have some expenses, I think, that it's a challenging year for the Board of Education. And so even with the proposed, I think it was a 5.08% increase is what the Board of Education approved for expenditures. And with that, it does impact the mill rate. Sure. And so that's where that 3.11% increase is coming. It's all on the Board of Education side, which, it'll be. And so at this point, the budget goes before I present it tomorrow night. Dr. Britton will be there to present the Board of Education's budget as well. And then the next night, we start our budget workshops with the Board of Selectmen. And it'll be, we are not seeing you there, Dave. I mean, you're welcome to attend, though, if you got nothing going on.
Yeah, it is nice to have my my Wednesday nights to myself. I used to have to close the store early to get up there and be, in place for get the meetings and started and so forth. But I don't have to do that now, so I can come in with the rest of the public on Zoom or YouTube and take part in the festivities.
Absolutely. Well, you're more than welcome to attend.
Yep.
But no, I think overall, the budget it's a pretty fair budget given where we are right now. I was able to put I think a decent amount of capital items in for the town that we need with the budget as well. And so you will see what the Board of Selectmen decides to do. But that's the next process is the budget workshops and then deliberations. And then eventually the Board of Selectmen will adopt a budget, and it will then go to referendum to the town. So the first Monday in May, we always have an annual town meeting on the first Monday in May, and then the second Monday in May is the actual budget referendum.
Right.
So mark your calendars for those, please. It's always good to participate in the budget process. And if anyone has any questions on the budget, it's available online, portlandct.org, /budgets, and also email me at rcurley@portlandct.org. Happy to answer any questions on the budget or anything.
Absolutely.
So we also have a few other things going on. We have our water source project, as Dave, you're very familiar with.
Yes, I am.
So our engineers, GZA Environmental, they have finished their engineering report, their final engineering report, and they submitted that to the town last week. And this is really the what next how-to guide to go from finding water to what does the town need to do to get that water into our system, get it treated, get it pumped into it, and then be able to deliver that to our customers in Portland. And with that, we are looking to drill the actual well, hopefully at the end of this summer. We're looking for August or September. That's the goal. When it typically the weather's the driest during that time period. and we hope.
What's the definition of dry this year, though?
Well, I'm hoping we're getting all the rain out of the way now.
Yeah, there you go.
So we'll have a nice dry August, and
Sure.
we can drill this well. But we don't have the funding in place yet. I should mention that because that's important. We're exploring all avenues for that. So Dave, I don't know if you'd like to make a donation here on this podcast to the town, but you're always more than welcome to.
Sure, we're gonna start selling candy bars and pencils.
All right. Whatever it takes. But we are working on that. We're excited about it because we found almost up to 2 million gallons a day of clean, high quality water.
And we can become independent. You know,
Yeah.
and that's the key. You know, when you unfortunately, like I say, most of our 60% of our water now comes from the MDC, which is the Metropolitan District, which has been a very valuable, collaboration for the last 30 years. I think we need to become a little bit more independent of our own.
Absolutely. And so we will not be getting rid of that connection. I think
No.
it's important to know MDC has been a partner with the town for 30 years. And even if we did get our own water source, we would still look to keep that connection alive.
Absolutely.
In case of an emergency or something.
As a safe yield, absolutely.
Absolutely. So I think it's important to mention that. So yeah, we're really excited about water, and we continue to work on that. So hopefully I'll have more news on that at an upcoming podcast to update you on.
Sure.
I'll talk about our Main Street sidewalks a little bit. I'm excited. I think it was 2 years ago the town received a steep grant of $400,000, and then there's $100,000 from the town as well. So we had $500,000 to replace sidewalks on Main Street. And that project has been engineered. Our engineers have finished the design for that. And we are out to bid on that right now. So hopefully that project will be underway this spring. We hope mid to late spring, the latest. And that will be replacing sidewalks from Arvid Road down going north on Main Street to about 510 Main Street is where we are right now. Now, fingers crossed, there's an additional grant that we have out there that would allow us to continue even further than that if we were awarded that grant, but we'll see. Fingers crossed on that, but this is a good thing for the town, and I know there's plenty of people that walk on Main Street that are going to be happy about this.
Absolutely. The walkers it gets used quite a bit.
It does. And our other projects that we have going on, Public Works is very busy. We have our Russell Avenue water main replacement project underway right now. Crews are working as we speak. They've been making really great progress. And this has been an important project. It's one of the first things that we worked on. My initial board when I got elected to the Board of Selectmen was, how do we spend our American Rescue dollars that we receive, these federal dollars?
Yeah.
And as you know, our infrastructure is critical in Portland. And we have some very, very old pipes that our Public Works Department, they do a great job, when these water mains break. And it happens, unfortunately, far too often. And so whenever we can replace water mains and do it, especially with federal dollars, it's a really big win for the town.
Sure.
And so between this water main replacement project and also we have our Co Avenue pump station project going on as well.
On the sewer side.
On the sewer side.
Yep.
And that's on the Co Avenue pump stations being replaced. And between the two of those projects, both of them are vital for our infrastructure in town. I think we allocated about $1.3 million to do both of those projects.
Yep.
And we're excited because not only are we going to replace the water lines, but then we take care of the road on top of that too.
So it's a kind of a multi-pronged approach. We got the three-legged stool.
Exactly. And we also received a $500,000 steep grant last year to replace water lines on High Street as well. And so plans are in the works for that. So stay tuned as well. I think that's still in the engineering phase. But again, we'd be replacing water lines and then paving the road above it, because once you do the water lines, you don't have to worry about those breaks, and then you can take care of the road.
And you don't want to pave the road with old water lines underneath it.
No, you do not want to do that. No. So we're very excited about those projects. I'll also talk about, I did post about it, but we did add an AED, an automated external defibrillator, has been installed at our Portland Recreational Complex.
Yep.
And this one is special because it's designed for all weather. I think it's actually heated. They heat
Yep.
the battery or the components that you need so that when it's cold outside, you can still use it in case of an emergency. And this was made possible through donations from the Kenny Fletcher Memorial Car Show, as well as the Knights of Columbus here in Portland,
Nice.
Council 7. And so I want to, again, thank both of those terrific organizations for their donation.
Sure.
Both donations were made in memory of Buddy Hernandez, who was a long-standing Portland resident who was known to many and all.
Yes, absolutely. Company number 2 firehouse, and he was, one of the cornerstones of that, fire department and so forth.
Yeah. We miss Buddy, but I think this is a terrific way to
Absolutely.
keep his memory alive.
Sure.
I do have some good news. The town was awarded a rural speed grant, and this is pretty cool. This was a grant to one, it's federal dollars for rural road enforcement, speed enforcement. And with this grant, we're able to purchase 2 of those radar speed signs that you see.
Yep.
We have one on Main Street, we have one on Bartlett Street, and they do work.
Oh, yeah. There's one on Ames Hollow Road, too.
Ames Hollow and High Street. And
Yeah.
so we'll get 2 new ones. It's funny, they actually gave a list of roads in town that were eligible for this grant. And I would have liked to have seen, Penfield Hill was not on there. I consider that a rural road that wasn't
that's a
on
main
there.
artery, yeah.
And Middle Haddam Road also. So those were 2 roads that I was looking for with this grant that we couldn't apply for. It wasn't eligible. But the 2 roads that we were able to get were Thompson Hill and Cox Road. So both of those are going to get these speed radar signs installed very soon. I believe they've already been ordered. And then with that, it also included funding for our Portland Police Department to conduct speed enforcement as well. So look for that. There's going to be a number of speed enforcement operations going on this spring. So that's a good thing for the town. That's one of the most number of emails that I receive is, what can you do about the speeding in town? And that's doesn't matter if it's on Main Street or if it's a rural road. It doesn't matter. We always have a problem with speeding, unfortunately. And so, I think that is it for my updates, Dave, unless you have any questions for me.
No, I think that we're good, Ryan. I think from that standpoint, I think you've done an awesome job, securing these grants. And like I said, the spa is really exciting for the townspeople. And, again, her economic development in town is moving ahead. And I think that, bodes well for potential of developing, more of that riverfront as far as that goes.
I think so.
We
got a lot of good stuff going for us right now.
Yes, we do. And just kind of turn over to the school system real quick. We have the Portland High School is doing their school musical Matilda, which is going to be on March 22nd and 23rd. So all our townspeople, if you want to go out and support, it's a nice night out and get a babysitter, and you can have a nice date night.
There you go. That's it. Thank you for mentioning that, Dave. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, for sure. Anyway, so, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode of the Town of Portland podcast. And in our studio with us here at Connecticut Valley School of Music is our first selectman, Mr. Ryan Curley. So thank you, Ryan, and we'll look forward to next month's update, and stay tuned.
Thank you, Dave.
All righty. That is all. Thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Dave Kuzminski. Please tune in every week for new and relevant conversations about the town of Portland. You can find us at portlandct.org or at YouTube/Town of Portland, and now wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you've enjoyed our podcast, please consider subscribing and sharing with friends. This podcast was produced by the Town Tech Educational Partnership Program, which is a partnership between Portland High School and the Portland Town Hall. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or organization, check out towntech.org/podcast to learn more.